Welcome, traveler. Tonight, we journey far beyond the glowing lights of modern life, far beyond the hum of engines or the buzz of clocks. We drift gently back over deserts. Tonight, you will walk the cracked paths of ancient Mesopotamia, not as a ruler or a scribe, but as one of the many an ordinary farmer. You wake before the sun. The air is cool, but it won't stay that way. It never does. Overhead, you rise from your sleeping mat, your arms brushing the coarse wool of the family's only blanket. It's scratchy against your skin. You rub your eyes. The room smells of clay and goats. Outside, the first light of morning seeps through a narrow slit in the mud brick wall. There are no roosters, just the low grunt of animals stirring sheep. You dress in silence. Your tunic, woven by hand, it hasn't been washed. The earth is cracked underfoot. The clay path stretches between homes just like yours, low, cube-shaped dwellings, built from the same sun-dried bricks that flake and crumble over time. The smell of smoke hangs in the air. Your neighbor is already stoking a dung fire to make flatbread. You make your way toward the irrigation canal, a long, winding ditch. It gurgles softly. The rivers Tigris and Euphrates have been unpredictable again this year. Too much flooding in the spring. Always too much or too little. You carry 2 large clay jars. They bump your legs with each step. Your shoulder aches. You reach the edge of the canal and squat down. The water is murky and thick with silt. You scoop carefully, trying not to stir the insects clinging to the surface. A mosquito lands on your arm, and you brush it off, too tired to slap. The sun begins to rise. Golden light creeps across the fields. You hear the soft rustle of palm fronds in the distance. But here, there's only dry wind, buzzing flies, and the quiet rhythm of work beginning. You return home. Your children are stirring. They are small, barefoot, and bone-thick. You hand the jars to your eldest. There is little food this morning, only crushed barley soaked in sour milk. Your spouse is feeding the animals. The sheep look restless. One is limping. Again, no time to worry. You gather your tools, a wooden hoe, a straw hat, walk to the edge of your field. The soil here is hard and grey. The last flood brought too much salt. Still, you work. You kneel in the dirt, digging furrows with slow, practiced motions. The sweat begins to drip down your brow. By mid-morning your tunic is soaked. The heat presses down like a hand. You can feel it pulsing from the cracked earth, baking the soles of your feet. Overhead, the sun burns bright and unyielding. The sky offers no clouds, no promise of rain, just the slow passing of time. You stop briefly to stretch your back. In the distance, you hear children laughing. Someone has found a turtle near the canal. You smile faintly. The turtle is old and wise. If you find one, it means the water will return soon. You don't really believe it, but it's a nice thought. You return to the rozon, the steady motion of hoe to soil, the rhythmic tamping of dirt. There is comfort in repetition. There is survival in routine. You pause for water. The clay cup is warm and slightly bitter. Your throat feels lined with sand. Insects drone in your ears. The field shimmers. You think you see movement near the reeds. You wipe your brow and keep moving. Hours pass. The sun shifts. By midday the village grows quiet. Most have taken shelter. You retreat to the shade of a low wall, pressing your back against the cool clay. You chew on a dried fig, the seeds crunching like sand between your teeth. You close your eyes and rest. For a few moments, the wind returns. It carries the smell of something familiar: baked earth, animal fur, distant bread. Somewhere, someone is spinning thread. The soft sound of the spindle worry brings a strange comfort, like a lullaby passed through generations. You think of your mother, who once spun that same thread, and your daughter, who might do the same. You open your eyes. The light has shifted. Shadows stretch toward. You gather your tools and begin the slow walk home. The weight of the day sinking into your bones. You pass by the old fig tree near the drying racks. The figs aren't quite ready yet. They hang swollen and dark, just out of reach. A bird flits past your ear, startling you for a moment, but you smile. It's quiet again, at home. Dinner. Nor you is ready. You sit with your family. Your spouse says little. You chew slowly. The stars emerge bright. The thatched roof rustles gently in the wind. You listen to the animals stir. Somewhere, someone hums a song too old to name. You close your eyes. And so, we leave behind the humble rhythms of the Mesopotamian farmer, and now drift quietly toward the halls of power, toward a figure whose name once echoed across kingdoms, and whose story begins not in palaces, but in reeds and rivers. Imagine the still waters of the Euphrates. Now imagine a basket drifting inside a baby, wrapped in silence, rocking gently on the current. His mother, unknown. His future, unimaginable. This is how the story begins. But long before that, he was just a child left to the river. He was found and raised by a gardener. A gardener. He learned the scent of damp soil and the rhythm of planting. But ambition, like water finds cracks, it finds a way. As a young man, that king was yours, a barber. Sargon poured wine at his table. He listened, watched, learned. He carried messages. He heard secrets. But dreams had begun to trouble the king. Strange visions. In one, Sargon flooded the land with blood. The king grew fearful of his own cupbearer. So he sent him away with a sealed tablet, a message to another ruler, urging that Sargon be quietly removed. But the plan failed. Instead, Sargon was spared. And then everything changed. He gathered men many. They followed him not because of his name, but because of his certainty. His presence. He moved like someone who had seen the end of the story already. He marched on Kish, Uruk Umal Lagash. One by one the cities of Sumer fell to Sargon's army. Not a nobleman, just a man with vision. But Sargon wasn't finished. He crossed the great rivers. He moved north into the mountains, west toward the Mediterranean. He claimed lands no king before had ever dared to hold. And so the world's first empire was born. The word Akkadian would become the tongue of scribes and traders. The empire stretched from the Persian Gulf to the edge of Anatolia, from the valleys of Assyria to the cedar forests of Lebanon. But what happens when you conquer everything? You begin to lose it. Rebellion came. The empire was vast. Cities burned behind him as quickly as they were captured ahead. The rivers brought both trade and invaders. Sargon now fought, still tooth and nail, battle after battle. He claimed victory always, and then silence. His sons ruled briefly. His grandson Naram-Sin, but even gods crumble. The empire fell. The stones cracked. The roads faded. Even Akkad itself vanished, its location still uncertain to this day. Buried, the legend of Sargon, a man of no royal blood, a conqueror, a king. His life, both myth and memory, echoed through time. His story was told on clay tablets, whispered by scholars, recorded by kings who came long after. Even millennia later, Babylonian scribes would copy his tale like a lullaby passed down in dust and ink. So tonight, if you find yourself drifting on uncertain waters, imagine Sargon, because even in ancient times, even in the land between two rivers, greatness was born quietly, carried by the current, found in silence. We now leave the noise of empires and the dust of conquest behind. What remains is older than kings, older than battles, a quiet monument to labor, pattern. You approach it slowly. Rising from the flatland stands not smooth like the Egyptian pyramids, a series of stone and mud brick levels. It's wide at the base, narrowing as it climbs. Its lines are sharp. Its bricks are massive, baked from clay and straw under a burning sun, thousands of years ago. This is no tomb, no fortress. It's something else. You stand at its edge. Heat radiates from the surface. The bricks feel rough. Beneath your fingertips, sandy, flaking. Some are marked with ancient impressions, more stamps pressed into wet clay before the bricks dried. Imagine yourself in the middle of construction. There are no cranes, just baskets, ropes, calloused hands, and time. Workers move in rhythm, lifting, laying, adjusting. The air is dry and smells of dust and sweat. A line of oxen drags heavy stones to the ramp. A child nearby. The structure grows inched. It's not built in a day, and yet it endures. Many ziggurats once dotted this land. Most are gone, now flattened. The ziggurat of yore in southern Mesopotamia is the best preserved. Its original layers would have been brightly colored. Some archaeologists believe the walls were once painted in deep blues and shining reds, the bricks sealed with a kind of ancient waterproofing. The steps are wide and shallow. Each level gives a new vantage point. The wind picks up as you ascend, quiet and clean. Below, the city would have spread in all directions: homes, workshops, canals. You sit for a moment on the edge of a brick ledge. The heat has softened. Shadows stretch long and cool across the ground. Insects hum. Archaeologists still debate it. It may have been an administrative hub or a seasonal observation point. Some suggest it was used to monitor the stars for planting cycles. Others propose it was a symbol of power pure and simple, an announcement of presence, a statement. We are here, and we can build this. Whatever the truth, it was not a palace. It was maintained. You run your hand along the brick once more. Each one is handmade, formed in molds, baked in open pits, carried in arms that are long gone. You think of the labor knot, the knowledge passed from builder to builder. This was not just a structure. It was a community effort, a collaboration of farmers, brickmakers, haulers, planners, and organizers. A marvel of precision in an age before steel, before concrete. It's quiet up here. You listen for something, but there's no music, no ceremony, just the wind. In the early 20th century, his team cleared away layers of sand, uncovering not just bricks, but pottery, tools, and remnants of daily life. They worked with brushes, not shovels. Patience was the method. They uncovered a staircase. They found bricks with inscriptions, still legible, even after thousands of years. They found the memory of human planning written, not in words, but in walls. Woolley wasn't just documenting a monument to the angles of cut stone, the materials chosen. Every design decision carried a message. Maybe that humans crave permanence, that even in an age of rivers and reeds, they still reached for structure, something geometric. As you descend, you walk the perimeter, passing small stones, thorny brush, the faint traces of footprints in dust, your own footsteps. You stop near a low wall and sit down. The ground is warm. You run your hand across a broken shard of brick, smooth on one side, crumbling on the other. You close your eyes. Not to forget, but to let your thoughts drift deeper, to imagine the slow rise of the ziggurat. No gods, just people. Building something big and watching it stand against time. It doesn't speak in words, but it says something clear. We were here, and we built this together. You breathe in. The scent of sun-baked stone lingers in the air. The ziggurat fades behind you, but now, step away from bricks. The sounds of carts and tools grow faint. Into the cool stillness of a courtyard. The air smells of pressed oil and wet stone. Water trickles in a small channel that runs along the edge of the wall. You have entered the home of the elite, not royalty but close. A wealthy merchant, a city official, a priest's family. Nor you. Their world is made of linen. You remove your sandals. The floor is polished clay, painted with patterns, simple curves, in faded blue and red. Your footsteps echo softly. A servant brings a bowl of scented water. You wash your hands. The evening meal is being prepared. You lie back on a low platform cushioned with woven mats. The pillow is filled with feathers. The fabric smells faintly of wood smoke and myrrh. From the open window, you hear the sound of grinding, grain being crushed between two stones. Slow, rhythmic. Somewhere beyond the house walls, a harp is being plucked, tentative, almost sleepy. The host enters. They wear a long robe, dyed with indigo. The edges are stitched with bronze thread. Their wrists glint with copper bands. Their hair is oiled, their nails neatly trimmed. They smile, but do not speak. The feast: small figs, dates stuffed with crushed nuts, melons sliced open and cooled in damp cloth. The sweetness fills your mouth slowly, never sharp. The food is soft, simple, dense, with sun. A young servant pours drink into a wide ceramic goblet. Not wine, but a kind of barley. You sip slowly. The oil lamps are lit. Shadows grow tall along the walls. They flicker across clay figurines, placed in niches carvings of animals, dancers, and horned bulls, symbols of wealth, of trade. Main dishes arrive on low trays: cooked lentils, spiced with garlic and wild herbs, roasted fish wrapped in reeds, warm flatbreads brushed with oil and sesame, stewed leeks. Everything soft, rich, filling. You eat slowly. There is no rush. The food is shared in silence. The elite do not raise their voices here. They savor quietly. After the meal, dried apricots are passed around in a shallow dish. Then silence returns. You recline again, full and warm. The ceiling above is painted with patterns, circles and lines in faded ochre. The walls are thick. You hear the whisper of reeds brushing against the outer window. The host offers a story, not spoken, but read from a clay tablet passed. It is a list of shipments, grain, fish, wall-marked in tidy cuneiform. But here, you listen not for meaning. You think of the difference between this life and the one beyond these walls. Outside, a potter tends their kill. A herder shoes goats through narrow alleys. There is no pillow. But inside this house, this rare, precious home, time to choose slowly, to sit without moving, to fall asleep before the story ends. A servant places a warm cloth in your hands. The scent is unfamiliar, earthy, as if echoing your breath. You feel the heaviness of the feast settle in your chest knot. Discomfort, but calm. You are full. You are still. You are safe. The host nods. Once, the lamps are snuffed. You are guided gently to the outer room. A woven mat waits near the window. The clay beneath you is cool, but the linen covering is soft. Above, the moonlight cuts across the ceiling in thin white ribbons. You close your eyes. Somewhere beyond the thick walls, a dog barks. Farther still, a flute plays. The sounds are distant, muffled by plaster, brick, and time. Here, in the house of the Mesopotamian elite, sleep arrives slowly, wrapped in warmth, carried by calm. You let go. As sleep begins to weigh gently on your shoulders, we step back into the city once more. Not through the market, nor the fields, but into a small, square room tucked behind a courtyard. It smells of dust and damp clay. This is the scribe's school. A low bench waits in the corner. You sit, barefoot, resting your arms on a polished stone tablet. The room is quiet, except for the scratch and press of reed styluses on wet clay. You are learning to write. Not letters, as we know them, but wedges, some straight, some bent, all arranged in careful rows. Cuneiform. You hold the stylus between your fingers. It is not sharp. You press it into a flat, soft slab of clay. The surface yields slightly. Each sign is more than a sound. It can mean a name, a number, an entire phrase. You press too hard and the clay cracks too softly, and the mark fades before it's seen. There's a rhythm to it, a balance. He corrects your grip, adjusts the angle of your wrist. He doesn't speak. He simply nods. Once, when you press cleanly, you try again. The other students are silent too. One hums softly. A girl to your left shakes clay, dust from her tunic. The light from the doorway shifts slightly. Afternoon drifts closer. You are a tablet boy. Your tasks are simple. Mold clay into rectangles. Keep the water jars filled. Watch the older students who copy royal decrees and temple inventories. One of them sharpens styluses with a tiny bronze blade, the way a craftsman sharpens tools. You sneak a glance at his tablet. It's not a list of words. It's a story. A tale about a king. Something about a cedar forest and a beast that cannot die. You'll hear it again, years from now. For now, his voice is low and deliberate. To clean their work, gently, you pick up the damp clay tablet and place it on a wooden tray to dry. The marks will harden by morning, or be wiped away if your lesson was poor. You wash your hands. The water is cool. Your fingers ache slightly from pressing. Later, the master asks you to read a number. You count the marks. 3 vertical wedges, 2 angled ones. You say the word aloud. 5. He nods again. You smile, just a little. The light in the doorway has changed again. It's late now. Someone brings bread flat and dry. It's passed around, broken into small pieces. You chew slowly. You taste ash, grain, and just a trace of sweetness. There's always a trace. You sweep the floor before you leave. Clay dust gathers in small piles. You sweep it into a basket and carry it out into the alley. The city outside buzzes faintly. Distant voices, a braying donkey, the sharp call of a vendor selling dried figs. But inside this room, as you leave, your hand brushes the edge of an old tablet near the shelf. It's cracked at the corner. The symbols are smooth eroded. With time, you read one word. Moon. You close your eyes for a moment, and when you open them again, the stars are beginning to appear, faint and few but there. Tomorrow. But for now, the city softens around you. The stylus slips from your hand, and the world turns in wedges and curves.